I'm Kerry Peters, a recognized thought leader in the Microsoft Dynamics community and a Microsoft MVP for business application. Welcome to the Get Your New View podcast. Keep listening to learn how we work with frustrated Business Central and Nav users who struggle to use their system and find the answers that they need. We teach them to truly understand how the system can support their business processes to make immediate and lasting improvements. As a result, they get more done in less time, make better business decisions, and even love their system. This season, we are sharing information about new Business Central functionality released by Microsoft in the 2025 Wave 1 release. We wanted to be sure that you knew about Microsoft's new Essential Cleanup initiative. I've attached a link to the Microsoft Learn guide here that has all of the information that's in this presentation, plus quite a bit more, so that you could read this for yourself. But for your purposes today, I just wanted to be certain that you got a chance to understand what's happening, when is happening, and why this is happening. So first of all, what is this Essential Cleanup initiative? This is taking place with the 2025 Wave 1 release. There are a large number of tables that have been marked as obsolete and removed. And Microsoft has put some new rules around some of these things. And the most important one to know about is that any table extension or field that has been marked this way for more than one major release will be permanently deleted. This is going to affect the base application as well as other apps. At this point, there have already been over 150 tables that have been removed to clean up the application code. This is the first time that this has been done as a formal initiative, but going forward, every fifth release, Microsoft will engage in a cleanup effort. So this is an important thing to be aware of, that this is happening. There are some specific things to pay attention to. I guess maybe the first thing to talk about is, why is Microsoft doing this? Really, this is accomplishing a few major things that are great things to know that our software is taking care of. Certainly, being cognizant that improved database performance is always a priority is a big one. So being able to simply remove things that aren't being used anymore will help to maintain and improve database performance. The second point here really speaks to international and worldwide applicability of the software. The goal here really is to have all countries based on the same code base. With how we used to deal with localizations, I'm not entirely sure this is possible, but I think that it's a great effort that Microsoft is making to move toward this point in the base code. Getting things to the same code base worldwide is part of this initiative. The third point related to maintainability really is helping to have more simplified development. When we have developers in our space and product owners who need to manage changes, removing things that are no longer used should simplify development. And interestingly enough, one of the little stats that came through in the reading I did on this is that at this point, we're removing more than 10% of tables and table fields, which makes sense as a software ages over time. The very last point, having a streamlined code base certainly means that cleaner code is going to give fewer errors and be a lot easier to maintain, going back to point number 3. Along with this is something to think about for folks who have not moved over to the cloud, who are on-prem. The step release that's being introduced along with the cleanup initiative is going to be mandatory for people who are not yet on the cloud. So anybody moving to the cloud, the new step release associated with this is going to be mandatory. And anybody who's migrating from an earlier version must upgrade to the step release before you can go to the newer versions. So something to pay attention to if your company is not yet in the cloud. This means that the cleanup effort that's happening now, anytime you're moving from an on-premise instance to cloud migration, which is where everybody needs to be getting to anyways, is getting into the cloud. This will take into account the obsolete and remove tables, making sure that all of that is cleared out before going on to the next version and moving into the update cycle that those who are already in the cloud have the benefit of taking advantage of. One important thing to note related to this is that any data associated with deleted tables, extensions, and table fields will also be permanently removed. So for any developers that we have on the call, I would recommend that you go back to the link at the beginning of the presentation and read the whole thing for yourself. But if you want the short version, this new preprocessor symbol CLEANSCHEMA has been introduced to help developers to identify what's being marked. And one of the nice things that is included with this is that there is a year included. So you can tell when this is going to be marked as removed and at what point it will be deleted. Developers in particular should be aware that refactoring your code is something that may need to be done related to things that are marked with this CLEANSCHEMA marker. We want to make sure that any upgrade code, in the case where we're upgrading, doesn't rely on these particular tables that have been marked for removal. And just paying attention to the CLEANSCHEMA symbol will help you anticipate what's happening here. Again, this is related to the new process and what's happening with cloud migration. This is the version that people will move to as part of this cleanup so that they can get past the obsolete objects that have now been marked for maintenance. There is a current best practice that folks should be aware of. Microsoft does recommend that you use the point-in-time restore procedure for data recovery. So if you anticipate needing data from these obsolete tables, this is the place you can get it as long as you're making an appropriate point-in-time backup. There's a little bit more to pay attention to here as far as how Microsoft moves into this over time. And really, as long as you're proactive in keeping track of this, you'll really ensure a smooth transition for your customers and be able to take advantage of the benefits of cleaner, faster, and more unified code. This is the page where you can keep track of this. This is going to be updated by Microsoft regularly. Remember that there's a significant cleanup effort with this first one. While I have no idea how much will be taken care of in future versions, I would anticipate that it would be a little bit less as we go forward, and this moves into more of a maintenance type task, remembering that every 5th major release, there's going to be a plan to maintain the software by cleaning up and removing tables that are no longer used. There are a couple of other areas that you can find in Microsoft Learn that'll keep you informed of this. I've just added a couple here that I thought were useful, certainly what the timeline is overall, and then some of the deprecated features that are included along with the code. There are a number of additional points of information in this area that you may find useful, but this is a great thing to be aware of, to just know that Microsoft is putting this into place effective with the 2025 Wave 1 release.
Kerry, with the cleanup initiative, do you see this as something that like the normal end user needs to worry about, or is it more so an administrator or partner?
I would say that it's more administrators or partners. Although I will say anybody who is still on MAV and hasn't made it to Business Central in the cloud, definitely be aware of what needs to happen with that new STEP program, and then any need to refactor things that you have had customized. I don't think that we're ever going to lose that word refactoring as programming languages change. I just think it's a great move that Microsoft is being very public about it, putting it out there as, here's what we're doing. This is why, this is when it's going to happen. So a general awareness from a system administration standpoint, I think is smart. There's less to have to pay attention to once you're in Business Central in the cloud, which is pretty much the case universally. But still, if there are customizations that are related to these tables that become obsolete or deprecated at some point, we'll have to think about the things that we now maintain outside of the base code and what happens when that inevitably occurs. Just a couple of reminders before we let you go. So this QR code goes to our survey for our event today. We would love to get your feedback on what you thought, good or bad. It all makes us better as we plan our next one. That'll be sometime in the later fall or early winter of this year. And I'll also remind you that all of the sessions that you have seen today, and I know some people have been in and out They will be put out on our YouTube channel as a playlist. So you'll be able to look through any of the sessions that were included in today's event and share those, rewatch them, do whatever you want with those YouTube videos. And it's probably a good reminder, if you want to see prior events and the videos that we've had in the last 2 years, you can see information about the new release features at those points in time. Finally, other than just thank you for being here, I'm so glad that you guys are our customers and our friends and our professional colleagues. I would love to encourage you to get in contact with us if there's anything that you need. We would love to work with you, whether it's engaging with some of our training products through Learn Dynamics or working with us with some of our fractional services, consulting and business process improvement. We'd absolutely love to talk with you about that. Even if you're not ready to work on it today, if it's something you're thinking about for the next year, set up a call. We'd be happy to talk it over and help you through your thinking process of how you can do more with the software that you already own. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm Kerry Peters. Thank you for tuning in to the Get Your New View podcast. For more episodes like this on YouTube, click the subscribe button and ring the bell to ensure you get notified whenever new content comes out. If you're listening to the audio podcast, please share an honest review on Apple Podcasts. If you're ready to rethink today for tomorrow, contact us to speak with our expert team. You won't find the level of no-nonsense, real-world experience we offer anywhere else, and we're here to put that experience to work for you.